You can't love each individual item equally if you have an abundance of items, but you can truly love some of the things and treat them special when you have less of them. Hey, sweet mama. Welcome back to another episode of Mama Mindset. I'm your host and creator, Amy Cawthron. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome back if you've joined me in the past, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Huge virtual audio hug for me if this is the first time you've joined me and the first time you've joined this community. I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving, a beautiful Thanksgiving. I'm sure for a lot of you, it was maybe really tough or challenging. Whenever you get family together, it's always a little bit of a struggle. Even if you decided to do something with just your immediate family, there's a ton of work that goes into it. So I hope that you made it through okay. I hope you took some moments for a little bit of self-care. If that was a morning walk, if you follow my stories, I took a beautiful morning walk Saturday before we had a great big family Thanksgiving. And it was so needed. It was so rejuvenating and so refreshing. Something I want to just touch on a little bit today, but it's not exactly what the whole podcast episode is going to be about. But one of the things that I want to talk about as we continue to approach the next holiday season, because I feel like we kind of shift right out of Thanksgiving and move into the winter holiday. So our fall holiday of Thanksgiving, winter holiday, whether that's Hanukkah or Christmas or whatever it is your family chooses to celebrate. It just seems like we immediately shift into this next holiday. And I want you to know, and I'm not going to talk about this in a very naive way in the podcast because I'm not naive to the struggles that everybody is going through. But I want you to remember when we see all of the commercials on TV, when we see all of these Pinterest, Instagram, perfect posts of people that genuinely every single mother, every single person is going through something that's challenging this holiday season, whether that's they're hosting and they're stressed out about the large amount of family that's coming, or they've never made these types of meals before and they're a little bit nervous about it. And I think we've all been there. We've all had like that first overwhelming hosting experience, but there's a lot of people out there that are mourning a variety of different things, and mourning looks different for everybody, and mourning comes in a lot of different ways. So please remember that maybe somebody is mourning the idea of the holiday that they were supposed to have or that they were going to have is not going to look the way that they thought it was going to this year. Maybe they're actually mourning the loss of a friend or a family member, a loved one. Maybe they're, as a mother, maybe they're mourning the loss of an unborn child. Maybe they went through a miscarriage and they don't really want to talk about it. Maybe they're mourning their identity, something that's shifted within themselves. There's a possibility that they're mourning not the physical loss of a friend or a family member, but maybe they're mourning the distance. Sometimes we lose friends, we lose family without them passing away. We lose the relationship that we had to them. And the holidays bring up a lot of these experiences for us. They bring up a lot of these memories and a lot of these moments. And every single person has their own shit that they're going through in the holidays. So please remember that as you move into these next few weeks, as you move into these days, in just your actions, your attitude towards strangers, or even towards the people that you know and you're around all the time. I mean, I'll give you two examples of things that we are going through as a family, just so it's relatable, not because I want you to take on the burden of the emotions that we're having right now. I try to be very cautious in what I share on the podcast, because you all have enough emotions and heavy things that you're dealing with. And I don't want to dump any of like my stuff on you, but I'm sitting here talking about mindset, talking about personal development, growth, all of these things where we're supposed to be taking these steps forward. And, but then I'm shifting that a little bit right now in this conversation of mourning. And there's two things that I would say we are mourning right now as a family. And one of them is the loss of a very close friend of ours who passed away unexpectedly a few weeks ago. And we were at their funeral service, his funeral last weekend. It was really hard. He left behind a beautiful family, a wife, two children. They have a 6-month-old together. And I mean, it's very hard. It's very heavy. And it's especially going into the holidays. So that is something that we're processing and we'll be processing for a while, but not a lot of people will know that, right? Unless you're really close to me. And I had a little bit of a breakdown about it 2 weeks ago, and that's okay. All those emotions, though, the anger, the sadness, the frustrations, all of those emotions are absolutely okay, and they're healthy and they're good, and it's good for us to process. But no, not just anybody would know that about me. But the other thing that we're mourning is the loss of this idea of a quote perfect holiday that we were supposed to or expecting to have, not even supposed to, but with our traveling to Seattle, we're going again. We leave again on Tuesday. And so just a couple days after this recording comes out, we leave again. We leave again, and we drive, and we have to talk to our doctor again, and who knows what's going to come of that. But my idea going into the holiday was we roll out of hunting season, we go into Thanksgiving, and we have this uninterrupted coziness and peace going into the Christmas season. And it's just not happening that way. So we're having to shift and pivot and figure out ways to still have a family holiday filled with family traditions and the things that we love, but maybe it looks a little bit differently. But you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that if you were just running into me, or you wouldn't know that by listening to some of these things. Maybe I'm a little bit testy if I'm in the grocery store. Maybe I'm a little bit frustrated. Maybe I'm struggling a little bit with the idea of Christmas and the holidays and feeling behind and feeling rushed. And, because we've had a big curveball kind of coming at us. And so, but that's just two examples for us as a family, two things that are a little bit challenging for us as a family going into this holiday season. And you have no idea what other people around you are going through in this time. So just remember that, find your grace, find your patience as part of this community, as part of the mama mindset. I want you to remember your kindness, your forgiveness, your grace when it comes to other people as we progress forward into the holiday season. I want all of us to be the bigger person. I want all of us to remember that beautiful golden rule that we were taught as children. So that all being said, sort of my preface, my intro for this podcast episode, what I actually really want to dive into today is something that I have been working on pretty consistently over the last couple of weeks in preparation for Christmas. And it's drum roll, decluttering. I feel like decluttering is one of the best ways that we can prep for the holiday season. It is one of the best things that we can do to prep for Christmas. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what I've been doing, what my mindset is behind decluttering, and maybe just some steps and that you can take. And I also want to give you a couple of resources, some other people that you can follow, because please keep in mind, I am absolutely not an expert at this at all, but I do try to be very intentional about the steps that I take in decluttering my home. I also want you to remember, I'm going to dive into this a little bit, that I am not a minimalist. I follow minimal experts. I love the concept of it. I love the idea of it. I have just found, as a family of 5 living in a very rural community, a very rural area, we're not even in a community, we're in the country, that the minimalist lifestyle is just not going to work for us. We can't just run to the store if we need a bolt for something. I can't just run to the store and buy something on a whim. I don't think it sets us up for preparation for the curveballs that come at us, the unknowns that the world could be in at any given time. I am a little bit of I think I've talked about that before. I like to be a little bit more prepared. I like to be a little bit more prepped for any kind of natural disaster that could happen or the unknown. So we have bug out bags. I usually have a fully stocked pantry. And I think that's actually just being very, very smart and very wise. And I'm not sure if a minimalist lifestyle really fits in line with that. We also hunt, which means we have other things. We also, as far as like clothing and other items and things that we have to have. But I will say we also have a shop outside of our house. So we have a little bit of extra storage that other people don't. We do our very best to keep it organized and decluttered and tidy. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. I don't claim to be, but I will tell you that the moments that we feel out of control and things are a little bit chaotic, a lot of the times, especially when I was a newer mother and trying to kind of figure some of this out, what I went back to was less stuff. So I am not discouraging minimalism. I'm not saying that that is not an appropriate way to live by any means. I think it's absolutely fantastic if that is the life that you embrace and what you want to do going forward. For us as a family and with all the factors and variables that we have for us, it just isn't a fit. However, less is always more. Okay. Less is always more. And the first place that you can start going into this holiday season, I kind of have a challenge for you. I have a little bit of a goal for you. I know you're holiday shopping. I know you're probably maybe tidying your house a little bit for company coming over, but I want you to kind of think about, am I tidying and trying to reorganize things that are just going to get all pulled back out again and things that are just going to make a mess? Are you cleaning just to turn around and clean again and then clean again and pick up toys and pick up toys and pick up toys? Or should you be getting rid of things? Decluttering is not reorganizing. It is not going and buying storage bins so things stay in a specific bin. It is absolutely getting rid of stuff. Get it out of your house. Now, I call it black bagging. I have black bagged the kids' toys a number of times. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I pull out all their toys, put it in a black bag, and I throw it away or I donate it. A lot of the times I'll just set it aside. If they miss something, we'll discuss it. But if we haven't used it for a few months, then I'll go through the bags and then we'll go through them together and then we'll donate them. So let me back up a little bit. I know I dove right into toys, and the reason why I dove right into toys is because toys is the very best place for you to start. The times that I feel overwhelmed, the times that I feel frustrated that I'm constantly cleaning or organizing, frustrated, just all of these kind of negative emotions in my environment, because our homes as stay-at-home moms especially are our environment. That's our office. Our house is our office. And the times that I felt the most frustrated are the times that the kids' toys are out of control. And in the holiday season, you are gifted and your children are gifted toys, things, items that may not align with your family values, may not align with the things that you want. And it could be that it's toys you don't agree with. They're noisy toys. Maybe you don't like noisy toys. Maybe you're a family that doesn't purchase anything plastic, but you're given plastic things. Maybe it's just a bunch of junky things that you just don't want, but it's inevitable. Okay. Those things are going to come. Please keep in mind that those things come into your home and are gifted to you and your family and your children out of a place of love. That is huge. That is huge for you to remember that those things are given to you out of a place of love. Okay. They want to give to you, they want to buy for you. Now, I don't agree with this very materialistic life, this very materialistic society that we live in, excuse me. Am I perfect at not purchasing things? No. Am I intentional about what comes into my home? Most of the time, yes. However, I can't control what other people are doing. You can't control what other people are doing. You can't control what they give you. You can make suggestions. I would really love experiences for the girls. I would really love movie tickets, passes to the water park, writing lessons, piano lessons, something. You can suggest consumables to friends, family, loved ones. But at the end of the day, you can't control that. You cannot control what they decide that is important for them to purchase for you or for your children. So, what you can control is what you're doing ahead of time in your household to prep for more things coming in. And the first place that you can start is with the kids' toys, because let's be honest, that's typically what we get the most of is kids' toys. That's the area that gives us the biggest headaches is kids' toys, because we already have so much of it already. So many little things, Legos, toys from McDonald's, all of the like junky little things. Now, where do you start? Okay. And I'm just going to talk about a couple of the things that I figured out personally. And other people may have their own methods, other decluttering experts, minimalist experts, they may have their own methods, but this is just what works in my household. Take from it what you want, dive in a little bit deeper with other experts if you want. But I am very simple. Okay. I am back to the basics. How do we get things out of our home? And as a reminder, decluttering is getting rid of things, throwing it away, donating it, regifting it, whatever that looks like for you. It's actually removing it from your house, not just sticking it in the garage, but it's actually putting it in your car, driving it somewhere and leaving it, donating it, selling it, whatever. I say selling it, but let me just interject there really, really quickly. I do not recommend you trying to sell kids' toys unless it's a very high ticket item or a high dollar item right now. I don't recommend you going through and trying to sell a box of your children's toys for $10. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the headache. Find an organization you can donate it to, regift things that you need to, throw things away that are, or recycle them that can be thrown away or recycled, and donate the other ones. Just donate them. I do not recommend taking the time this holiday season, right before Christmas, to try and sell things. Unless it's $100 custom built dollhouse, try not to sell anything. But I do think it's really important to go through and start with the kids' toys first and get rid of them. Now, I have a couple of suggestions and a couple of tips that's worked for us. If your children are under, we'll say 3 to 4 years of age, 3 to 4 and under, probably about 3 and under, you can absolutely do this for them. You know what their favorite toys are. You know what their prized possessions are. You can go through at night after you've put them into bed, or early in the morning if that's when you want to. Typically when they go to bed, and you can do it for them, especially if you have a large amount of things. You know what they enjoy and what they don't. Some people might disagree with me on this, but when they are very young, you can do this for them. Now, as they get older, they're going to want to have a say. They're going to want to have a voice. And you don't want to create a situation where they are going to be traumatized, I guess, for lack of a better word, when you start to get rid of all their shit and they start to have this fear of getting rid of anything, or this fear of letting go of anything because you've just gotten rid of all of their things. So what I've done in the past is when the girls are very, very young, I've done it for them. And I just make the decision. Anything that is broken, anything that they don't play with, anything that has a lot of tiny, small pieces or is like cheap, junky things, donate, get rid of, regift, whatever. as they get older, they do get a say, and it is really, really hard. But I have a very, very intentional conversation with them on what we're doing, why we are doing this, and who it could go to if we clear it out of the house. Okay. So that looks like if we clear out some of these things, we're going to have this nice, clean, beautiful space. We'll be able to give this to a child who could use it more. We're making space for new things to come in. We kind of have this rule now in our house, this sort of unsaid, unspoken idea in the house that if something comes in, something has to go, because we only have so much space. And it's very important for us to only have that space for the things that we love the most. You can't love each individual item equally if you have an abundance of items, but you can truly love some of the things and treat them special when you have less of them. So we have constant conversations about it, constant communication on why we're doing this, how this will help us. And I'll give you just an example. Last year, our playroom was overflowing. I hadn't decluttered it probably in 6 months, which is not normal for me, but it was full. It was too full. It was too messy, too full. And I knew Christmas was coming like right around the corner. So it was more of like mad dash scramble. And it was like, I was upset. It was a mess. I couldn't take it anymore. And I black bagged it all. I put all of it, with the exception of a couple of items, in some black bags. I didn't even organize it because at this point I was so overwhelmed. Maybe this was 2 years ago. So overwhelmed, so frustrated with all of this stuff and all the kids' toys. And I was just disgusted. I was just honestly disgusted, like knowing that we had all this other stuff coming in. And I put it in black bags, took it down into our utility room, and I just set it there. We didn't go through it. There were some things that I threw away, but some of their toys, I didn't go through them. We didn't have the conversation. I just cleared it out. And I told them I didn't throw anything away. That wasn't like garbage. I didn't get rid of any of your toys or any of your favorite toys. These are a couple of the things that we left out, and we're going to go through them at a different time. But honestly, you guys, like what happened? They came up that morning, because I believe I did it at night. No, I did it in the morning. Sorry, I'm trying to like remember how this all happened. I did it in the morning, but I didn't let them come in because Brad was home. I remember Brad was home, and I closed the door. I said, nobody can come in here. I'm working on this stuff. And I think it was like 45 minutes or an hour. And I went through all these things, and they came in, and I was fully prepared for this meltdown, the upsetness. And they thanked me. They thanked me for the space. They thanked me for how clean it was. And like I said, we did end up having conversations about, I didn't throw all of your stuff away. It's safe. It's just in a bag, set aside, and we'll go through it at a different time, but not right now. There was a couple of things that were garbage in there, and I just got rid of those for us. But they thanked me for this space and this openness, and they played in the playroom for like the entire day, just completely independently. It was beautiful. Now, again, I can't remember now if that was last year or the year before. Here we go. Mom brain, right? Hey, Mama, I wanted to take a second and remind you about the incredible opportunity that my friends at Primally Pure are offering during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. For this limited time only, they're doing 20% off your site-wide purchase if you use Mama Mindset at checkout. This is an incredible opportunity to buy that gift for the mother-in-law you're not sure what to get, or your mother, or your children, or maybe even something for yourself. That is okay to use this discount to buy something for yourself. Their products are amazing. I've talked to you about them before. I use their natural deodorant. I use their oil cleanser. I use their dry shampoo. A perfect stocking stuffer opportunity for you is their chapstick. It's one of my very favorite chapsticks. So don't forget about this incredible opportunity from Black Friday through Cyber Monday for 20% off your site-wide purchase using the discount code Mama Mindset at checkout. And with that being said, let's get back to the show. But it's also not the first time that I've done that. That's just one example of when my life felt overwhelming. I felt like things were out of control. I was kind of just disgusted with all of the things that we had, tired of picking up things, and I just decluttered it. I got rid of things. So what I did with the black bag later is I went through and decided, okay, these are a couple of the things that they've asked about. These are the things that they haven't asked about. And we've rotated toys in the past. We've rotated toys, but not quite as organized as I have in the last year or so. And I have 4 totes of toys, and I rotate through those totes. And so if it didn't fit in a tote, if we had too much, we got rid of it. So we have 4 totes of toys, and that's what works for us. I'm not telling you exactly how you need to do your system. The point of all of it is to get rid of it, to declutter it. Less is more. So I came up with a much better organizational system, and we got rid of bags of things, bags of stuff, multiple bags of things later on. Like I said, like when we went back through it later. But that's something that we've done every Christmas too. Like we've done that multiple times throughout the years. Like I don't just do that once before Christmas. But it gets to the point where it's overwhelming and I'm frustrated and there's too much in the house. And so going back to what I'm doing right now is taking an incredibly proactive approach. And I've started decluttering the whole house again. And I usually do this twice a year. I usually do it in the springtime and the fall, the early spring and the fall. And I don't really do quote spring cleaning. Like I do, but I don't. I don't go through a checklist and like clean all the things. I usually just do that throughout the day, when we're home anyways. Getting a little off topic there, but decluttering is something I try and do a little bit throughout the year, but I usually get like a bug in my butt to do it, like major decluttering about twice a year. And so this year I'm trying to do it very proactively before the crazy holiday season. So I've decluttered my clothes, the kids' clothes, Brad's clothes with his permission, sort of. That's a whole side story. And he's okay with that. It's not causing any problems. But 8 bags of clothes, you guys, 8 garbage sacks of clothes. That's disgusting. Okay. And clothes, why am I going through clothes? Here's why I'm going through clothes. I'm sick of doing so much laundry. Sick of it. Why am I doing so much laundry? Because we have too many things. We have too many articles of clothing. So I'm getting rid of it. I'm decluttering. And again, this is stuff that we've done a little bit at a time throughout the last few years. And now we've acquired a few more things and it's just time. It's time. And, with my Stitch Fixes that are coming in every other month, I haven't been as diligent about like something comes in, something goes out, something comes in, something goes out. So now I'm like, too much stuff. I have too many things. I have too many choices. I am not a person that wants to have 100 different choices when I look in my closet. I want to know that I have 3 solid outfits that I can wear for this occasion or 3 solid outfits that I can wear for that occasion. And I have 2 pairs of leggings and a couple of comfy t-shirts and 2 pairs of pajamas. Like I want to know that I just have a couple of things that are just my go-to. I don't even have to think about it options. But again, going back to a minimalist lifestyle, I don't count my pajamas. So I don't say, oh, I only need 2 pajamas. I just know these pajamas are falling apart. They don't make me feel good. I've had them for 5 years. Bye-bye. I just know that this hoodie I've had for 5 years or however long, and it has holes in it. And I have 5 hoodies. I know I don't need 5 hoodies. Goodbye to you. This no longer fits me. This is torn. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't fit me in the correct way. Get rid of it. Don't wait for it to fit you. Don't wait for things to fit you when you lose the 5 pounds that you're trying to lose or 10 pounds. Just get rid of it and put things on your body, have things hanging in your closet that make you feel good. So like I was saying, got a little ahead of myself there. start with the kids' toys first. Start with the kids' toys. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can Google and how you want to do that. Have the conversation with them, figure out how you want to do that, but be intentional with it. Clothes is the next, I would say, easiest thing, in my opinion, to start going through. It's also what I hear a lot of moms talking about is another headache, is the amount of clothes that we have. And we have so much laundry and I'm tired of doing laundry. Well, get rid of some of it. So you only have a couple of items. So, you have to do laundry either every day or once a week or whatever it works for you. Otherwise, you just keep pulling out of the closet. You just keep pulling these items out and the kids keep pulling those items out. So those are two great areas that you can start with. As part of the challenge, you can see why I added decluttering to the third phase. And if it's 10 minutes, okay, I fully believe that you can get an incredible amount decluttered in 10 minutes. So not only have I gone through the kids' toys, B, I've gone through all of our clothes, C, I've started going through drawers. Okay, I've gone through kitchen drawers. I've gone through kitchen cabinets. I've gone through bathroom drawers, and I've started just a little bit at a time, knocking it out. A huge area that I just went through was our garage. And I got rid of anything that I haven't used in the past 2 years. And again, we got rid of huge box of stuff. And I can't even believe that, because we don't acquire kitchen things. I don't acquire appliances. I don't acquire this stuff, but it was just like, again, I'm not using this stuff. And we acquired a lot of things from the wedding. That was 10 years ago. I've been holding on to things from my wedding from 10 years ago because I felt guilty about letting it go. And you don't need to hold on to it. You have no explanation to those. They're never going to even ask you about it. They probably don't even remember they purchased it for you. It's taking up space in your home. You can make space for other things like time and love and activities with your family when you get rid of some of these things. So we've been slowly downsizing our kitchen. I say slowly, but genuinely, it's really not that slowly. Like I said, every year I get rid of large amounts of things. But I had boxes of stemware that I don't use. I don't need 12 martini glasses. Okay. I have mason jars. Like, I have very small children. If I want martini glasses when my kids get a little bit older, I could go buy like nice stemware a little bit later, but that's not the season that I'm in right now. And it was just taking up space. I don't have the storage for it. So I really had to look at, what can I use? What helps me? What is serving me in this season? And then decide, keep or donate, keep or donate. And as I've kind of gone through this, and this has continued to evolve, I've got rid of more and more and more things, decorative platters that I just genuinely never, ever use. If I use something, it's so incredibly rare, like maybe one time that we've lived in this house. And if it is something, if it's something that came from a family member, if it's something that came from a loved one, it's okay to be unsure about that. It's okay to not know, should I donate this or should I keep it, and want to hold on to it. There's great articles out there on how to declutter things that belonged to somebody else that have nostalgic value to you. I'm not going to dive into the details of all of that in this podcast because, again, I am not an expert. But one of the things that Ali Casaza, she's one of the women that I was going to mention to you that is an expert in decluttering, and she calls it minimal-ish. It's not living a minimalist lifestyle. It's minimal-ish. It's I believe her motto is living a life of with less for the sake of more. And I love that. And she has an entire section in a new book that she came out with, Declutter Like a Mother, on how to let go of things that have this nostalgic value to you. Maybe it belonged to a grandmother, great grandmother, it's a family heirloom, and you don't have to get rid of those things to live this quote minimalist lifestyle. Okay. But what she does encourage you to do, and I'll just give you this like one little tidbit of information or tip that she says, and it's to try and use it in your home as decor. So if it's a vase or a decorative plate, get a decorative plate holder and put it somewhere that is meaningful for you, because there's probably some things in your house that you've just bought at Target or bought at Hobby Lobby, because we all know those stores are dangerous as shit, that you just thought was cute, but maybe you don't have like an emotional attachment to. Maybe you can replace that, take that down and put up your great grandmother's plate or a vase that your mom made. So she gives some tips and suggestions on that. So that was just one thing that she did suggest to do, is to actually use it as decor in your home instead of storing it in a box where nobody can see it. And when you go to declutter, you pull it out. It makes you feel so good, but then you put it back in the box. Like, pull that out. Let it make you feel good every day, all day, instead of keeping it tucked away and hidden away. So like I said, start with kids as toys. Be super intentional going into this holiday season. Then next, move into your clothes if that's what is not serving you right now. If that's an area that's causing you stress. If you're frustrated when you walk into your garage, maybe start with that. Don't get so caught up in the details of how to do it. Just start somewhere. Maybe the garage is too big for you to tackle. Maybe you're not ready for that until the springtime with the weather being so cold. Start with the junk drawer in your kitchen. See where that leads you. Start with a hall closet. See what happens. See where that leads you. If you haven't used something in the last 2 years, chances are good you're not going to use it next year or the year after that. You could probably get rid of it. So as a reminder, when I say decluttering, it's not going to the dollar store or ordering additional storage things online. It is actually physically removing it from your home, getting it out of your space to create more space for the things that matter. And right now, what we're prepping for, what we're planning for, are the things that you're going to be given at Christmas that you don't have space for right now, that you don't have time, energy, or shelving space for right now. So we're proactively planning ahead so that when we get these gifts, we don't feel resentful. We don't feel grumpy. We don't feel annoyed that, oh my God, I don't need the shit. I don't need more dish towels. I don't need these things. Well, maybe you can look at your dish towels and say, oh, these are actually pretty grungy. I could probably get rid of about half of these. Or do I need 15 dish towels? I could probably get by with 7 or 8. Just take a look at the needs and the values within your household. Do you have too much of one item? Okay. Kids' toys. We have so many toys. A huge piece of advice: if the kids have a bin, I am not crazy about bins, because bins just get dumped, especially if you have very young children. They just get dumped out. Don't throw everything in a bin. If it's just like odds and ends, random things, and you're just throwing them in bins, but you turn around and it gets dumped out, and then you're picking them up and it gets turned around, you turn around and it gets dumped out again, and you're picking them up again. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Just don't even have it, because they're just going to dump it out. Okay. The other thing that I do with blocks or building items or anything like that, like Legos, awesome. We have 2 different kinds of Legos because I have different ages. So we have like the big Lego blocks, and then we have the little Legos for Gracie and the older girls. Is we don't keep everything out all the time. We choose 1 to 2 building things, and we keep those out and we let them play with them for a few weeks, and then we rotate too. So I don't keep the teeny tiny Legos and the magnetic blocks out all at the same time. We do one or the other. For example, Gracie has a huge marble run that she gets to build these beautiful, it's perfect for STEM projects and STEM learning. And it's so cool, but there's so many pieces. So we don't keep magnetic blocks out, as well as the marble run. We have storage for those set aside, and those for us are very important in cultivating a learning environment, a learning atmosphere. Those align with our values and needs as a family. Some people don't like Barbies, for example. That doesn't align with their family values, so they don't keep Barbies. So get rid of the Barbies, okay? Now, if you get a Barbie for Christmas and that doesn't align with your values, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to handle that situation. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and say, this is how you should handle it. Don't let your kids play with it, whatever. What we do in our household is we let them have their fun, and we say, we've had our fun and now we're done. Okay. And I think this came from like Daniel Tiger or something. We let them have something for a little while and then we're done with it. And we talk about getting rid of it in the house, or regifting it is a great way to have things leave your home without really like taking something and causing some trauma for your child. Now, we've also had conversations with our loved ones about the types of toys that we like and the types of things that we enjoy receiving and that the kids enjoy receiving, and what our values as a household is. So our family has been very good, not perfect by any means, but very good about trying their best to accommodate our household. But what we've done is A, decluttered, B, prepared the kids with conversations, and C, we've had these conversations with the kids on what is allowed, in the house and what isn't. And we've shifted our mindset. I guess that would be the C, that we've shifted our mindset in understanding that when they give us something that doesn't align with our values as a household, or what we want or agree with, or whatever terminology you want to put with that, it's not because they're trying to be vindictive. It's not because they're trying to go behind our back or whatever. It is truly, genuinely coming from a place of love. And we've cultivated space to accept that permanently or temporarily by creating space, physical space, to allow for it to come in. A big thing that we don't like to have is toys that don't spark imagination. We're not the family that only buys wooden things, or, we're not perfect, but we really, really, really try. And our family understands that. But I know, Brad knows, we know that things are going to be gifted to us that maybe we didn't really need, or we didn't want, or takes up space. And it was like something that we're not crazy about. But by decluttering, by lessening the amount of things that we have, we create emotional, physical, and mental space to accept the gifts that are given to us from a place of gratitude and a place of love and a place of understanding. So that is what I wanted to share with you today, is the mindset shift that we have when we accept and receive things this holiday season. And how do we shift that mindset in acceptance and receiving? And it comes from intentionality leading up to the season of gift giving. And the only thing that you can control is your immediate environment. So just start with a couple of things, start small, start with the kids' toys. There's a lot of books, like I said, Ali Casaza's book, Declutter Like a Mother, which I'll put in the show notes below. You don't have to rewind this and come back to it. It's a great place to start. She has a very approachable way in her book. She also has a lot of courses too. She has some I haven't ever done her courses, but they're incredibly popular. She has a lot of thought and effort that's gone into these courses and decluttering your home and making space for the things that really matter. But I just know what has worked for us, and that is prepping and planning ahead going into these seasons gives me space and time to breathe. I have less laundry, less things to do. I'm not fussing with the kitchen drawers as I'm prepping for even just Thanksgiving. I did this all before Thanksgiving, and cooking and cleaning in my kitchen, not cleaning, cooking in my kitchen was easy because it was clean. It was tidy. It was organized. There wasn't anything on the counter. I wasn't like fumbling through the drawers to find all of the random stuff because I only have 2 spoons and I only have just the equipment and just the tools that I need to cook the things that I love to cook. And that's it. So I encourage you to take some time and do that. I encourage you to be intentional in the next couple of weeks by removing things from your home, creating space, making space for the things that really matter coming up into this holiday season, making space for receiving, making space to give, making space to entertain, making space for coziness, quiet, calm. The winter season, this holiday season is supposed to be about togetherness. It's not supposed to be about resentfulness or frustration or overwhelm. And if we can plan ahead and do a little prep work, that's the best way that we can squash some of those feelings. Because every time I've had those feelings in a situation like that, where it has to do with my environment, the best way for me to get rid of them is by having less every single time. I've talked to a girlfriend about this just very recently, and her and I have over the past, oh gosh, we've been friends for 7 years now. So over the past of 7 years, her and I both go through these phases. And I feel like we both get in the phase of getting rid of shit at the same time. And we feel epically better, epically, monumentally better when we get rid of things and make space for the things that matter because we can breathe. It's this release of pressure. It's this release of overwhelm. You just have less to do. And it's an incredible feeling. Do I love it? Do I love decluttering? No, like I would not say I love the process of decluttering, but I love the rewards from the outcome of that intentionality and of that process. And so I encourage you to do that. I know this was a little bit of a longer podcast than I had originally intended on recording. This is something that I'll probably dive into a little bit more. I would really love to have some experts come on and talk to us just a little bit about the mindset of decluttering, because I am also not naive to how difficult it is. Emotionally, this can be incredibly triggering. This can be incredibly difficult. So I'm not going to dive into all of that in this episode, but I do want you to know that that is something that may come up, and it's perfectly normal. It happens to everybody. It can happen to your kids. So the only thing that I will say is be sensitive to that and understanding, and have those calm conversations with them about it as to why you're doing this, because this could be a trigger for them. Most definitely could be a trigger for them. Gracie tends to be very good with this. Olivia really struggles. I have to really slow down when I include her in the process of getting rid of things. But I include them in it. It's beautiful to see. They have things that are very special and very important to them. And I'm absolutely sensitive and understanding to those things. But you as a mother, you as a person may also find that this process is triggering, emotionally triggering, and that is okay. But again, there are a lot of books out there. There's a lot of material that can walk you through this and help you through this process from better experts than myself. I would say I'm an expert for decluttering my own household and what works for me, but I can't say what works for me works for you. The point of all of it is you need less. Plan ahead, have less going into this holiday season, especially when it comes to the kids' things, because less is more. Create space, create space going in these next couple of weeks for the things that will be coming in, for the people that will be coming into your life, and just be intentional about that. I want us to be intentional about the steps that we take as we go into the holiday season. So I hope you found value in this conversation today. If you did, please share it. I want all of us to support each other and support this community and help out another mom. Send me your declutter before and after pictures. I would love to see them. Tag me in them. Send me a DM. Put it in your Instagram stories. I would love to see what little things you're doing to make space in your life to get prepared for the holiday season. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I can't wait to see what you do in proactive ways that you're creating space and decluttering your household. So thank you so much for listening today, sweet mama. I look forward to talking to you again very soon.